Welcome to Indian Tech Icon Spotlight, Bay Area, Silicon Valley chapter. Today we have Sunzay Passari with us. Sanjay comes with 25 years of experience in the digital world. Sanjay is a digital innovator and a disruptor. He has been into this industry for over 25 years, and we are going to hear from him his journey of 25 years and more in the digital world and what he has been doing. Welcome to the show, Sanjay.
Thanks, Sachin. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's a pleasure all ours. Let's dive into the conversation. You have an elaborate career of over 25 years in the digital world. Tell us, what do you do? What your work is like?
Pretty interesting, Sachin. In my current role, I'm heading innovation and AI for a $100 billion company, logistic company. It's UPS, which is like the largest logistic company in the world. So pretty interesting role to kind of take a company with a history of 118 years from a lot of legacy to really driving them into the future and not into today. So pretty exciting. And I'm kind of modernizing a lot of technology for this company and infusing all the new coming technologies like AI, GenAI, while in my journey of this transformation. So a lot to do.
Oh, I'm sure. So 118 years of history. It's big and huge. So tell us about how do you go about this, because with companies at this scale and technologies sitting there for such a long time and this transformation happening, how do you look at these things, because they are embedded into the DNA of the company now, coming up with this change? How do you go about this?
Oh, right question. Maybe that's the reason I was hired. So yes, you're correct, Sachin. It gets embedded into the DNA of the company when it comes to, and when I say company, it's more about people, processes, and all over the place. You can say it's embedded. So one of the reasons they got me on board was they wanted a perspective which was outside their core DNA, and which also brings global and a very diversified experience in terms of tech domain. Having said that, it's challenging, but for me, every challenge is a bit bigger opportunity. So it is challenging to get on board all the stakeholders, help them speak the same language, align them to the same goals and the strategies, and then kind of team up together, join forces and fire it up. So pretty interesting.
So when I think about such companies at scale, I'm assuming thousands of applications around.
Oh, it is.
So when you start looking at those things, how do you prioritize? What's your mechanism to prioritize, what to take first?
Pretty simple. I mean, this part is not very hard for us. So for us, there are certain mission critical technologies, application stacks, and versus there are important ones and there are some urgent ones. So it becomes easy for us. And internally also, like we have a very exhaustive way of associating a dollar value to every small or large initiative which we undertake. And not only that, we associate a dollar value, but a month on month we track, whether that kind of ROI is being delivered by that initiative or not. And then every quarter we go back and see, are we on the track? Do we need to pivot in kind of change our focus? So yeah, we have got a simple way of doing things. It's pretty tied to dollars. So there's no confusion and everyone understands this language of dollars. So it becomes easier.
To focus is on the dollars first.
Oh yeah, totally. And specifically in the current economic environment, nothing is more important.
Yeah, I think, it makes sense that every penny saved is a penny earned.
And for us, as I was telling, we move 25, 26 million packages every day from point A to point B. Now, a few cents can move needle significantly. So yeah, that's pretty surgical and micro kind of tracking of what we're doing.
Yeah, and at this scale now, when I'm thinking about all this, you have in-house applications, and then because this is all over the world, there are applications that are sitting outside as well.
Correct.
So how do you look at those applications? You manage the ones which are internal, but you are also looking at the applications sitting outside, tracking everything?
It's a whole suite, Sachin. It's a whole suite, because in a fragmented way, it becomes challenging not only to manage the applications or the outcome of the applications, but you are not able to deliver the true value. For me, one of the guiding principles in the North Star, which I tell my teams, is less is more. So, in fact, I was in Atlanta, our corporate headquarters, this whole of week. This was the theme I was telling my team. We had a workshop. I said, less is more. I want to consolidate a lot of this. And with today's tech stack and with microservices, API first, AI first, all of this, it's far more easier today to deliver that kind of vision on a tech stack side. So we are kind of majorly looking at transforming a lot of things, which is not only transformative, but innovative and disruptive as well.
So when I look at all this, I spoke about in-house applications that are outside, which are tracking the movement and all that. There are also a lot of point of sale. So all this, I think, comes under the same umbrella, this entire system also.
So internally, we have kind of divided into two big blocks. One is OpTechs, as we call operation technologies, and one is business tech. So generally, when we talk of an enterprise IT or enterprise technology, this is more around business tech. But in our case, we have 150,000 trucks on the road, and we have 300 jumbo jets and 6,000 warehouses around the world, and uncountable robots and systems and sorters, and then diets in every driver's hand. So few 100,000 drivers and warehouse workers. So the number of devices itself is a humongous scale, So these are two big blocks. But one of the key challenge, and not only challenge, it's a mandate for me, is how do you marry both the blocks together to deliver value to both sides of the house? So for business guys, I marry my operations technologies, give them better insight into operations that help them devise better ROI for the products and services they're selling. At the same time, from my business side, I marry it into operation and say, hey guys, what is the room for creating more efficiency? What is the room for bringing costs down still, or giving a better experience to our customers, or giving more surgical commitment to our customers. So it's kind of putting together, that's one of the big mandates I have as a pretty exciting one.
That definitely seems exciting and also humongous. By no means seems like a small thing. Tell me about, you talked about AI and other emerging technologies. How you look at AI, how you think about AI, and how that is going to help what you do?
For me, is Sachin, let me go back to Eureka days, and in many of the forums I've spoken about this. It's like every 3 decades, actually, the technology takes a quantum leap. And it's a Eureka moment for the rest of the world. How do you infuse that technology? Now let us go back to 60s. And when, the compute was growing, that Moore's law, it will double every year or so, whatever, 18 months, I don't remember that. But now the compute was growing. And we were seeing, when we were kids, we were seeing, there is something called computer, and it was emerging, and they can do a lot of things. And we started seeing those calculators, the scientific calculators, and then big black monitors and green monitors and a whole bunch of things. Just think how that explosion came in 90s when there was an internet.
Yes.
So from compute, we got a quantum leap to connectivity. Now from compute to connectivity, and the whole world changed. The emergence of internet, the emergence of e-commerce, the emergence of connected systems, the emergence of cloud. Now between mid-90s and 2022 or 23, as I call the redefining moment, again a journey of 30 years. Now there are a couple of more things happened. Mobility, which is where I played a major role in my career in terms of getting this mobile first. So soon with the connectivity followed the ubiquity. So there was a connectivity not only to your home, to your office, but to your palm as well. Now there was a big beautiful world. So what is that you can do in your palm? What is that you can carry in your pocket? And today, I don't have to tell, the whole world knows what a mobile device can do for us. Today, you can't imagine any technology, any enterprise systems or any consumer systems without a mobile front end on that.
Right.
Now comes the age of AI. This is another Eureka moment. Almost 30 years later, today we are at an AI at a very, interesting intersection. Now the way, if you go back and relate how the connectivity got embedded into compute, and today it's very difficult to separate the two. And then mobility got embedded into compute and connectivity, and then cloud got embedded into mobility, compute, connectivity. In future, AI is not going to be any different.
Yeah, so it's same for
AI will also be part of this whole stack. And if I ask you, Sachin, if you look back and say, can you live without internet, or can you think of any technology without internet? The answer is straight no.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this time, I'm expecting this whole evolution cycle will be a lot faster, way faster than what we have seen in the eras of connectivity and mobility and cloud and all of that, because all of these are now supporting AI.
Right.
There's a mega compute, there's a gigabits of bandwidth and connectivity.
Right.
And today we are already in 5G, while we have not even realized the full benefit of 5G. The world is now talking of 6G.
6G, yeah.
So it's gonna explode.
Yeah, and I believe with the quantum computing, people talking about it, it's going to take it to the next level.
Take it to the next level. So this whole AI, so this compute, which started in 60s in a more mass way, this quantum compute will take it to a very next level. So AI requires at the back end a lot of compute, a lot of resources, but quantum compute will help optimize the compute requirements of the AI systems. And when they marry together, it becomes more ubiquitous and more accessible. Today, if you see, quantum computing is not accessible to even large companies.
Yeah.
Similarly, playing around with, let's say, LLMs with billions of parameters, 700 billion parameter or whatever, those numbers are going crazy every day. You lose a track of it. To support that kind of infrastructure and to support this kind of compute, it's not ubiquitous and it's not accessible to all the organizations. Very big players can get into it. But then, of course, some of the way you architect it. So some of the Chinese companies, and you know what I'm talking about, they came with a very different architecture of computing. So they challenged a company like OpenAI, or you guys did
cheaper,
it with much cheaper. We can do a fraction of the cost. Now, all of this will come together and it becomes in the mainstream, not only for the enterprises, but for the people like us as well.
That's very interesting, actually, how these technologies are evolving. I think you're right that, during the age of internet, it took a while to actually ramp it up, but now the evolution is much faster.
Absolutely.
And as we are looking through it, we know about one thing and there are 5 things next day available at our disposal to use.
Correct.
While I also feel that there is a lot of, I should not say distrust, but people are still trying to figure out, that should I or should I not? I mean, everybody is on board that we have to go AI, but that, that leap of faith is still seems like missing. So what I am seeing is there are baby steps that everyone is taking, starting with, okay, maybe just a little bit of it. So what's your take on that?
Not very different. I have seen this twice. So going back when I started my career and this connectivity thing just came in, the internet was just emerging. And in fact, I remember using Hotmail, not in a browser, but on a command prompt. I remember using a browser on a command prompt. Now, of course, when any new technology comes, there's a lot of suspicion, nervousness, speculation around what it can do and what it cannot do. So it goes through a cycle of boom and then a bust and then, of course, maturity. So I've seen it in mobility, in internet days. If you remember late 90s, there was like a dot-com burst and nothing gonna work. And actually late 90s, 2000, around that time. And okay, this company is go bust, it is overhyped. But soon after that bust, there was a stability. And today, digital commerce, let me give an example. You can't think of opening your florist shop without a digital store. Right. So today is so mainstream. Similarly, very soon in this era of mobility. And then, when I was like, I was innovating on the mobile devices side on all nice cool applications, and we would approach large enterprises and say, can we provide mobility to your business, or can we transform some of your business applications onto mobile device? And people will not take us seriously. Hey, this is never happening. Do you think the business can be run on a small device? Do you think our employees are going to look at a device and not work on a computer? No, that's not happening. We have got big forms to deal with. We have got big documents to deal with. And we have got a lot of data to deal with. Cool. So there was some kind of an apprehension and suspicion behind what a technology can do. But the innovators and the disruptors keep persisting to create that value because you believe that this has got a massive potential to change the way people work, the way people entertain themselves, or the way people even keep safe themselves. So it is impacting every part of the life. So, and I've seen that second time then. And then, of course, that story goes on with the cloud. Oh, no enterprise is going to put their data into the cloud.
Yeah.
There is no cloud. People like me are actually forcing, like, okay, let us see how much of data you can put in the cloud. Do we really need our own data infrastructure, data centers? Or do we just move everything to a cloud with the right kind of governance and security around that?
Yeah.
So similarly, Sachin, coming back to this, giving this historical context becomes important to figure it out. Where is it heading? Yes, there will be booms and there will be bust. Yes, all large and small organizations are experimenting with a lot of things and will fail. But we love to fail because that's the only way we get insights. So today's world is fail fast. Don't shy away. Failing fast is a better strategy than kind of shying away and sitting on the fence and kind of, then missing the whole innovation boom, and thereby you lose your business lead in that.
No, that's well said, actually. I think, and this obviously comes from your experience, right? That a lot of people, first timers, I mean, they will always have this apprehension whether or not. I think the key is like, somebody going through that, and you said that you have already gone through it this couple of times. You have seen this, how this evolves.
Correct.
I think that's the learning for our audiences as well, that
Correct.
Go and talk to people who have seen this happening. If you are on the fence, like you said, I think that kind of gives the perspective that, okay, maybe some of these things, I closely relate this to my learning around stock market. When you are looking at a stock and you think maybe it will run, but you are on fence, you never buy. And then 4 months down the line, that is already like 40%. You say, okay, it was looking like it. And you may have seen it 10 times happening, but you're still not taking that leap of faith, I think that's very well said. And
in fact, I'd like to add one more thing for the audience here, that we all, people like us who are a Fortune 50 company versus, a startup or even a small mom and shop, we all are in a discovery phase when it comes to AI. I would, hugely recommend everyone, go and keep discovering yourself. Go and keep experimenting. Now, the more we experiment, the better we discover. Keep doing. In next couple of years, you'll figure out what is working for you and what is delivering ROI for you or your business.
Yeah, that's correct. Because every time I see the businesses also, they evolve. They start from somewhere and they actually end up somewhere else. Correct. I think the same thing applies here, I guess, that, you start experimenting, maybe it doesn't work the way you are thinking, but it might evolve into something else that is more fruitful and beneficial. So now that we talked about this AI and all, I think it's a common theme. Everyone in leadership roles like you probably understands, what it is and what it's going to give. It's just, the wider audience who are still on the fence are kind of still thinking about it. Now, going back in time when you were maybe in college or early days, right? What was like, you talked about the internet era probably at that time. That might be first time for you. Like one of these things might be first time for you, right?
Correct.
What was your thought process at that point when you saw that? Were you like how people look at AI today, or you had like a different thought? Because as I introduced you, right, you are a disruptor. So I'm sure that at that point you might be having something different. So will you like to share that with our audience?
I think it goes back to a very fundamental understanding of who you are as a person. And a domain doesn't define whether who you are as a person, whether it's technology, finance, biology, life sciences, rocket science, doesn't matter. For me, and I can specifically speak about me, is when I stepped back, when I look back into my days when I was in my academics and doing my education. For me, that creativity, innovation, disruption was probably built in as my own DNA. To, what can I do something new which this world has not seen today? So probably for me, maybe I was lucky or maybe I was passionate. That was like a built-in DNA. And when I got into this real world and I started seeing this technology was kind of emerging, and I clearly remember my dad, when I was talking of computers and computer science at that point in time, and the one comment were like, are you going to do a typist job? I said, what does that mean? Oh, they keep typing all the day on the computer. So, the understanding at a mass level, at a middle class families was very limited. But then as a young man, I could see that it is holding a potential to change the world tomorrow. And that's when I decided, no, this is who me is, and this is I really want to do. And I just continued it.
So I believe then when you were growing up as a child, probably you were the same guy at that time trying to break open a lot of things to understand how they work.
You got it. You got me, man. Yep. And then my mother was always complaining, bring him a new toy, in 2 days it's all disintegrated.
Yeah, because that's the trait of somebody who wants to know and learn.
Totally.
Right? Because other than that, there is no way to figure out how things work. And I think that's the trait of a curious mind, I would say, because I've seen so many of them, and everybody has the same trait that you get them something and they will open it up without worrying that whether it's going to work or not.
We'll be able to put it together or not. Yeah, totally.
So tell me about your college days, like where you did your education, what did you study, and what was your defining moment at that time when you said, I want to go in technology? So you said that you want to adopt this, but was it like during your college days or you made your mind before that?
So it was like, okay, very interesting. Your subjective pros, not many people know about it, but I have a dual qualifications. So coming from a traditional Marwadi family in India, I'm a chartered accountant.
Oh.
Yeah, and also I'm an all India rank holder. Wow. If you come from India, you know how difficult that is.
3% people pass. That's all I know, and it's not easy to get that feat.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, I was interested in technology. So what I did was I joined chartered accountancy just because my family wanted me to do that, and I also joined my master's diploma in that time. It used to be called IT, information technology. Basically the same thing what is called today computer science, and I pursued both the education streams, and did well in both. For chartered accountancy, I secured all India rank, and for this thing in my finals, I got the best capstone project. Did well in both, and so it was a very interesting intersection. What should I do now? Then I picked up a job with a VC. And I said, okay, in the VC, I can apply my financial skills to figure out, the right investments. But at the same time, I'm evaluating technologies and, trying to make sense out of it. So that kind of gave me a good, a starting point to really get into a blended career in my life. But soon I got an opportunity to join Reliance and drive their mobility applications and innovations. If you've heard of the R World in India, so I'm the creator of that.
Wow, so that was long time back.
That was a long time.
So seems like you have been associated with them from the very beginning. So tell us about that experience. How was that? Because at that time, if I am not mistaken, the big players were like AT&T, BPL, I guess, at that time. And then there were some new players that were coming in market. And I think Reliance came in, took over the world by storm.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where my Eureka defining moment was. So I was lucky to get picked up by chairman of Reliance Industries himself.
Wow.
At that point in time. He's the big guy. I don't need to take his name. Everyone knows him. And then, so soon I got into the company, and they were like, so I was taken at a very senior role there, with my experience and background both. So I was taken at a pretty senior role, and company like McKinsey was involved in terms of defining the organization. And then through some internal processes, finally I was handed over to lead this entire portfolio of, that time it was called value-added services, data services. And so I was made at a pretty young age, in my late 20s, I was made a head of that, all India national head of that.
That's amazing.
And then, with all that hard work and all the support from the company, especially the chairman of that company, I was able to launch the first ever app store in the world. At that point in time, even the term app store was not there. The first ever mobile streaming services. There was no Netflix, there was no term OTT. So did it well ahead of time. And then of course kept building on that.
Wow, that's like a dream story. So now that you did a CA, you did pretty well in that, and now you ventured into the VC, and then from there you got into technology. Did you ever think about what do I do with my CA thing? Because I'm sure that you did it, you know about it. So did you just left it there, or you still wanted that, because somewhere in your heart it must be there, right? That I have this knowledge as well. So, or maybe I should ask it this way, that where did you apply that knowledge beyond that point?
Sachin, it never left me. It's there with me day to day. So if while doing your CA, let me try to connect the dots here. So the key thing you do is audit. When you are doing audit, you are looking beyond the obvious and trying to figure out, if there are compliances enough, or there are any violations, or there are processes or things can be done better, or the profitability can be improved, or the cost can be brought down. Now just imagine for 3 years, I'm doing that day in, day out, and actually getting trained in that. Now the same trait when it comes to technology, looking beyond the obvious, what you can do with the raw materials are different, but the fundamental trait is same. The trait lies the same.
Right, correct.
So you develop a personality of that curiosity, and not only curiosity for the sake of curiosity, but curiosity for the sake of creating something new. And that helped me, number one. Number two, while you're doing your CPA, CA, you become really good at numbers. So that helped me in terms of figuring out, while I'm creating these nice things, but will it be limited to the labs, or it makes a business sense to really scale it up and do it for the rest of the world? Number three, while you are doing your CA, the kind of people you deal mostly are the people sitting in the boardrooms or the C-level. You are already trained when you come here to deal with the top people, to all the stakeholders at C-suite. That helped you grow. That helped you actually manage things at a global scale at a 360 degree. So Sachin, to answer you, that never left me, CA, and is never leaving me, because all that I learned from there is getting applied here, and applied in a bigger and a better way.
So you're kind of a one-man army, right? Because today, if somebody has to come up with an idea, they have to go to 10 different places, more financial modeling, do this for me. You go there and do this for me, and then come up with an idea of, okay, this is what my idea is. This is my financial modeling. I think seems like you were one-man army in that sense.
I mean, I wouldn't claim that one-man army thing, because everything requires specialization, but at the face of it, I can, with a very high degree of 80-90% confidence, I can tell what may work, what may not work, and what can be done to make it work. So,
yeah, that's backed by your own education and the knowledge and everything that you had.
Totally.
Now, you talked about one more thing, and I want to know your perspective on how you take these things forward, because you have done this many times. You talked about something new. And when you think about something new which is beyond obvious, obviously, a lot of people are not thinking about it. Now, you have an idea, and you think that, okay, beyond this, it is going to evolve in a certain way. How do you go about convincing people? Because a lot of people get stuck at that, okay, maybe this cannot be delivered. And they get the idea, but the execution doesn't fit well. So how do you go and tell people that, okay, no, this is how, or convince them around this can be executed? Because I have seen that challenge a lot of times, where somebody has an idea, but a lot of ideas get stuck at, like, it's a good idea, but there is no way to execute it. So,
Sachin, it's more difficult to convince yourself than convincing people. First of all, I would rather, say that all your audience, even before trying to go and convince the rest of the world, make sure you convince yourself how much you believe in this. Have you thought through completely from different dimensions? And once you kind of buy your own idea and you're into your idea and you totally believe that, it becomes far more simpler to go out to the world and sell it. Of course, there are naysayers, and they will be, and that's part of this world, and that's part of this how this society is. No, don't expect people to just believe it on face of what you are bringing to them. but you don't need the whole village to support you. You need few important players and actors to support you, and you'll find them. On the contrary, if it's really you believe deeply into it, they will find you.
Okay.
Because the capital is hungry to get the best of the best and not vice versa. And the best of the best is hungry to get capital. But make yourself so compelling that capital chases you. So first, convince yourself, and convincing rest of the actors very easily.
That's a different perspective to look at. I mean, it's a very insightful. I do see that sometimes you're convinced by the idea, but I think the other thing also makes a lot of sense.
You think you are convinced by the idea, but you have not thought through from 360-degree perspective. That is where I recommend stepping back. Oh, on the face of it looks great. Have you gone deep enough to probe yourself enough to be your own devil's advocate and then answer all the questions which you don't have an answer until now?
That's a very, very well said, and I think this one advice is going to help a lot of our audiences as well. Hearing right from who has done it, it's really good, very good advice. I would really tell my audiences to rewind this and see and hear this again.
I'll be glad.
So we talked about your past of how your journey has evolved. Now, coming out of this work discussion and topics, what is Sunzay like outside of work? Like, your likings, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I mean, basically, I try to find opportunities to have fun in whatever different ways I can do that. There is no one specific way to do it, kind of socializing in different ways. Sometimes just for the sake of drinking and dancing. Sometimes, working with young entrepreneurs and budding academicians to kind of share my experiences with them. And if that helps them to kind of build up their own startups. Sometimes, sitting across the peer group and trying to discuss what kind of challenges each of us are having. And that I do while on hiking also, like, oh, let's do a Saturday morning hike and, bunch of CIOs and CTOs get together and find a nice spot to hike. And so we do that. So this is one way. And the second thing is spirituality. That is something which has immensely not only helped me, but in helping many different ways. So some of our original Sanatan spirituality principles and science, actually, spirituality is more of a science than just of a notion or a philosophy. And it's a biological science, neurological science, ecological science, or cosmic science, whatever you call it. It's a combination of a lot of science. So I'm a student of it. I keep learning and practicing it every day. And then I am a proponent of it as well. Again, it's for me, I'm no guru, nothing, but the least I can do and the best I can do is share my journey, spiritual journey experiences, how it helped me to motivate people to kind of try some of those practices. The beauty of this part of the world, don't need any money. The beauty of this part of the world, it kind of takes you back from your day-to-day and gives yourself a space for yourself in discovering yourself. And if I have to define in a very simplistic terms, it's about, kind of getting in touch with your own higher self. And your own higher self is complete, immensely powerful, creator of anything. Like if you would have heard, term Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma is the creator.
Yeah.
So that Brahma lies within us. Now, how do you practice few things to get in touch with your own higher self? To make it bigger, better, beautiful, more contented, happier for yourself, for family, for people around you, and for the rest of the world.
That's very different side of your personality. I mean, based on what I have heard so far, a tech innovator, and this side of it. I mean, it's a good blend. I am sure that it will help a lot of people like you said, I believe in spirituality, and I feel that, sometimes it helps to calm down the mind in all this hustle of every day. So you also talked about, you like to help young entrepreneurs and startups. So if our audience is listening to this, if they want to reach out to you, what's the best way to connect with you?
Connect me on LinkedIn and give a reference of this podcast, because with so many, requests coming in, sometimes it becomes really challenging to keep a track of it. But if you give a reference of this podcast, I'll make sure that I accept your LinkedIn connect. And then, of course, you'll have a chance to, have one-on-one at some point in time. If you're in the Bay Area, happy to buy coffee for you guys and share my experience.
Because I'm sure that a lot of young entrepreneurs will love to take that advice from you, given your experience and what you have done in your career.
I'll be glad if my experience can help anyone. That's the only thing I have to share, actually.
No, I'm sure that people will get a lot of help out of it. It has been quite enlightening for me too, in terms of what you have said in last 30 minutes, going through that and looking at things from a different perspectives. I think it definitely helps a lot to have that different view of looking at things. So thank you so much for sharing your journey, your experiences, and showing your other side as well. It has been lovely talking to you, Sanjay.
Pleasure was all mine, Sachin. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you so much again.
Thanks. Thank you.